Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectables. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me as always,
Erik.
Erik!
What's up, man?
You can find us on the gram at REC Podcast. You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast. You can follow the shop at REC Comics, or you can come check us out at 7679 North Union Boulevard in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And behind the ones and the twos, as always, the big Tuna. Jordan Tunney.
As always, as in like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah. As new ways for always, for all time. All right, there we go. All right,
the once and future Tuna.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, I love it. How you doing this week, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Just apparently it's gonna snow or go crazy. Old stanky leg over there can't go to work tomorrow because it's gonna snow. But other than that, I'm pretty excited.
All right.
Tomorrow is New Comic Book Day, so you guys, please come out. I'm going to be here. I'm gonna brave the elements for you and for my pockets. All right.
Yo, I'd die for this.
Oh man. All right. Stop with your silliness.
What?
We had a new show come out this past week, based on a video game that has a 1 and a 2, but The Last of Us. The big Tuna himself dove into those waters and checked it out. How was it?
Yeah, so to give kind of a brief synopsis of the story, it's a post-apocalyptic world. There is a zombie-like virus, although we see early on, even from the first scene, an explanation of a little bit of the science that could explain how this could possibly happen. Pretty much there's this idea that a fungus could infect people and turn them into almost a hive mind or a collective entity in a sense. And these things have a level of intelligence. They are slow to decompose, and this poses a threat to humanity. The series picks up in 2003. At the beginning, we see our main character, Joel, and his daughter kind of living their lives. Joel's brother, Tommy, is kind of in and out of a few scenes there. Kind of makes it established early on that Joel's not only taking care of his daughter, although she sometimes takes care of him, there's a little bit of that kind of dynamic, but also that Joel's kind of keeping everything together for his brother Tommy. Well, things start to happen, and we don't get a lot of explanations other than seeing fire trucks and police cars going down the street in a few scenes, and then pretty quickly things turn into a very I Am Legend-esque sort of moment. Very familiar, very much similar to what we saw in the opening 10 or so minutes of the Quiet Place 2 movie, where you see all of this chaos unfolding in real time. Really intense moment. The first episode's 90 minutes, and about 45 minutes or so are the flashback. Then it jumps up to 2023. Boston is one of these QZ, these quarantine zones. Fedra, which sounds like a weight loss pill, is the government's military presence, martial law, hangings, executions, all that fun stuff. And we learned that Joel, through a series of events, is going to have to get Ellie, who is a special girl, special in the sense that she has been attacked by these creatures, but is immune, and that they're going to transport her ultimately with the goal of getting her to someone that might be able to produce some sort of vaccine. So the show is setting up a premise that's similar in some ways to the legendary comic book film adaptation Logan, where we see this tension between kind of this father figure, this young girl. I think we're going to see probably some similarities and parallels to Joel's daughter, who we do see die in the opening.
Spoilers.
Spoilers as I talk about the episode. I'm sorry.
That's what I always say.
Should I refer to it in the abstract? So as things happen, but yeah. So I
as
think,
they do.
I think they're really setting up some really cool dynamics with the characters, and ultimately, I do think that's going to be the success of the show. It has a huge budget. HBO's fully behind it. It's from one of the creators of Chernobyl, but I do think the success of the show will come down to the characters and the relationships that they form.
Cool.
Yeah, it's. I didn't realize it was already out. Like, I had just seen some Instagram ad for it, and then the big Tuna coming in delivering the hot news.
Cool.
Yeah, it sounds like something right up my alley.
Yes.
I love zombie stuff, although I did fall off Walking Dead, so
You do like zombies.
I do. Anything zombie
You've
related.
got to settle a debate for me now.
Oh man.
Do you think Jesus was a fast zombie or a slow zombie?
I think he was a fast zombie.
Yeah?
Yeah, and he could run on water.
I mean, but that was when he was alive, not when he came back to life.
I don't know if we've seen in any time the zombie virus or the T virus or whatever rage infects the superpower.
So you're saying Jesus was infected with rage?
I mean, wouldn't you be? Wouldn't you be? But I digress.
Get back at us in the comments. Jesus fast zombie or slow zombie?
Great zombie Jesus. Kids, last week we had that awesome Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium trailer drop, and it just got the wheels moving. Got me wanting to go back and rewatch Loki. If you have not taken the time and you're MCU savvy and you just haven't succumbed to the wills of Disney Plus, Loki Season 1 has a lot to do. We are going to be talking spoilers, but it has a lot to do with Kang, who we know is going to be the main villain of this kind of these phases, and kind of getting a gentle kickstart, a cameo, as it were, as He Who Remains, this character who created this institution called the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, that kind of monitors and maintains what's called the sacred timeline. Things that are supposed to happen. If they don't, those alternate timelines get reset. And, it's no bueno for those other timelines.
Yeah.
All right? So it's revealed that the man behind the curtain, the wizard, is this character, He Who Remains, who is a version of Kang. So this is really, 2 years ago now, that we've actually got our first appearance of a version of Kang.
Right.
He kind of outlays this Kang war, Kang Bang as it is. And they, sounds like Kangs from other universes, they start to find each other, they stroke each other's egos, they pat each other on the back, and then it always happens, war breaks out between the Kangs. And war were declared, as it's known. And we have this He Who Remains, who took it upon himself to not only win that war, but prune any other timelines, like the variants. He's really trying to make sure no other Kangs come out, because if a Kang starts showing up, then they start warring, and it's just like it's like cyclical. Somebody's gonna remain again,
right?
Were you a big fan of Loki?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I only watched it the once.
Yeah.
I got my fill of squinty eye Owen Wilson. That was great. He was great in there, by the way.
He's so good in it. Mobius.
I would think, as far as side characters go, yeah, he's up there.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think people should go back and watch it.
It was a great
setup. I think it has a lot to set up going forward with this phase.
It's a really quick rewatch.
Yeah, it is.
And as I was watching it, it gave us some things to talk about. Tuna, were you a big fan of the Loki show? I know you've been a little harder on some of these Marvel projects.
Yeah, one of the things I liked about it is that it leaned into the weirdness. We are getting a second season of Loki. It is slated by Disney as mid-2023. We don't have an official date yet. But, thinking back on kind of the events of the show, this idea of the TVA showing up, stopping things from happening and kind of doing the bidding, if you will, of a Kang variant. One thing that will be interesting to see how it plays out in Quantumania and in other projects in this next phase of the MCU is the idea now that with He Who Remains dead in Loki, events perhaps like what pulls the main characters from Ant-Man into the quantum realm, maybe those events wouldn't have happened. But with the TVA not existing, now we're seeing these possibilities that will ultimately lead to the release of Kang.
And we are going to, again, be talking spoilers if you hadn't watched Loki. But this idea begs several questions. And again, a little bit more backstory. The Time Variance Authority, they keep the sacred timeline, okay? They're established by what they call the Timekeepers, which look like these lizard alien guys, but they're the cloudy face and the flaming face, from Wizard of Oz. And, He Who Remains is the one who's really pulling the strings. When you go into his citadel at the end of time, there is a room that has all of these statues that all resemble each other, so presumably they're all the different Kangs. And there's one that's destroyed. And we just kind of assume that the one that's destroyed is the He Who Remains,
Sure.
like he just did it to himself out of rage. What if he didn't?
Okay.
Okay? Here we go. Ponder with me.
Is this going in the same direction that the Renner conversation went in? Your tin hat series?
Yes,
Okay.
this is more tinfoil hat Marvel theories, which I love.
Oh, peg leg Renner?
And I have not spoke to Erik about this at all
No,
because
I'm
I
going
want
in
to know
this
what he
blind.
thinks. And just, you do remember Loki well, right? Well enough, hopefully?
Well enough, hopefully.
Okay. So, this begs the question. Okay, right now, as it stands, because at the end of Loki, Loki is gets out of the Citadel. He goes to tell Owen Wilson, "Hey man, we messed up. This happened. Blah 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 blah." But when he gets there, the statues that were once lizard guys are now Kangs.
Kangs.
Okay, so are there two Kangs right now?
Okay.
The Kang that is clearly running the TVA, and then the Kang that is in Quantumania. That would, right?
Well, I would say since there was a tangent, obviously there's going to be another Kang. I'm
Okay.
with you on this so far.
Like, right? It
that
could
makes
very
sense.
well be
Yeah,
two
absolutely.
different Kangs.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I'm with you.
Okay? And I'm going to go back to the statue thing here real quick. Because if there were two Kangs then there would have been two Kangs before with He Who Remains and then the Kang in the Quantum Realm.
Okay.
My wonder is if the Kang that's in the Quantum Realm is that statue that's broken. He was the one who started the war, or those guys were going to team up and end it, and then he betrayed He Who Remains, and the only way either A, he could survive was to hide in the Quantum Realm and he's trapped.
Right.
Or... Jordan, you said you got some voiceover that you heard?
Yeah, so in some of the recent marketing for the movie, the Ant-Man tickets have just been released for pre-sale advanced screenings for next month's mid-month premiere of the movie. There is a statement that describes this place, meaning the Quantum Realm, we assume, is a cage. And so it could very well be that that Kang is marooned, or he is he's sent to live in exile, if you will, in the Quantum Realm. Perhaps the soldiers that we've seen in the marketing of the film, they kind of look a little bit similar to the soldier villains in Aquaman. They have these kind of blue helmet type things. This could be the army, and Kang and his army, they're told you can rule in this tiny little kingdom that you can't leave from. Also, there is some breaking news. This is just in the last few hours. There is a report out that Jonathan Majors was spotted on the set of Loki Season 2 while they were filming. That did lead to some speculation that we might see more than one type of Kang in Loki Season 2. And the same person's report is also referencing that we might see in Loki Season 2 the reference to something called the Time Loom, which is described as being the source of power for the TVA. One thing that might be really interesting is if Kang's motivation to get out of the Quantum Realm involves tapping into that power, which we see the TVA jumping in and out of timelines in the series. Mm-hmm. So they might be building off of that structured atmosphere in the universe that they've created for the TVA. We might see how it's implemented by Kang in Quantumania.
And to the, I love to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to do it against myself. If there is only one Kang now,
Kang Prime,
is the TVA then in the Quantum Realm? Has the TVA been there the whole time? And that's where it's, because Jordan made a point just now, they need access to go anywhere in time, and that's what the Avengers used.
Sure.
So, were we already seeing the Quantum Realm in Loki? You know?
I would say yeah. I think that's why going back would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something here.
Yeah. But I want to go back to Two Kangs, A Tale of Two Kangs. I'm going to put on my social tin cap now. It wouldn't shock me. I'm sorry. This came to me. It wouldn't shock me if these two Kangs were more than friends.
Okay. Well,
Like the He Who Remains, and then the one that's in the Quantum Realm.
Okay.
And because this is a variant, kind of falling for itself type of thing, which was the motif of Loki.
Yeah,
we had
right.
Sylvie, but because why wouldn't you kill the Kang that you put in the Quantum Realm? He's too dangerous.
Sure.
That's why, dude, I think they're gonna weave in some weird love story. Oh. And again, this is just my tinfoil hat.
Okay.
It seemed just watching Loki.
I like the idea of you saying he's Kang Prime, and you can't kill the Prime, or it maybe
That's not what I
kills
mean.
it off? Or?
No, that's not what
Okay.
I mean, but that is an interesting idea. I'm just using that to differentiate
Oh, okay,
the two.
so- okay.
Kang in the quantum realm, I'm going to say is Kang Prime.
Okay.
From here on out.
Okay.
Because I think He Who Remains and this one I said I think they were partners.
Okay.
And I think that's why then the Loki Sylvie story was so intriguing. That's why he allowed them to get to that point. Remember, at any point he could have just
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
pruned them, got away with them,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely,
where they
yeah.
were. Mm-hmm. So I think just with the way Marvel's been, I can see something weird coming out of that. The He Who Remains, he talks about like the point of the journey is to finish the quest, and the point of the journey is to change. I don't know, man. It lingered in my head. I don't know if that trips anything up for you. Ravonna Renslayer is important. She was the judge, Owen Wilson's boss that he was kind of somewhat briefly romantically entangled with. In the comics, we're going to go comic science.
Oh, here we go.
Ravonna is, this woman that Kang loves, but she does not reciprocate. So he does these grand things in time to kind of like gain
So
her
he's kind of
favor.
like doing Thanos with Lady Death, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit, but she's like a part of his kingdom and everything. And spoiler, kids, he ends up imprisoning the Avengers, I think, to kind of show her his like strength and everything. But then she still turns from him. His generals want her executed or exiled because of their front to his king. She doesn't want to kill her because he loves her. They revolt on him. He has to free the Avengers to like take his kingdom back, and then she takes a blast meant for him, and she realizes that she did love him, and she dies in his arms.
Okay.
Comics, kids.
But yeah, okay. You think they could weave that in there?
Well, at the end of, she was that head judge. She was definitely doing the timekeeper's bidding, even though she knew all of the...
Seems like she's banging more than her gavel. Hey-o.
And she really, she was wanting to find the truth. She took her telepath, she got all these coordinates from Miss Minutes, who I can't wait to see again, and she went out there. So she is going to be important later. I don't know if she's going to be a love interest unless her variant self was the Kang Primes lady instead of my weird bisexual incestual thing.
What would you even call that?
I don't know. They did it in Loki, but it's easier to swallow because it's a man and a woman.
Whoa.
Calm down.
Hey, you said it, not me.
I'm talking like a normal person, Erik. Have either of you rewatched the series or just?
I've only saw it the once.
Okay.
Jordan?
I haven't gone back and watched it. There is some other information that did come out with the release of Empire Magazine. They did a big thing on Ant-Man. Features two characters. The actors were already known. The actor and actress were already known in the film. That is William Jackson Harper. Probably big claim to fame is Chidi, the lovable guy who can never make a decision in The Good Place. Very underrated TV show. And Katie M. O'Brien. Now, there's a picture that Empire released that features both of these characters, and in a short interview with Empire Magazine, William Jackson Harper referred to his character as Quaz or Quaz. It's Quaz. Perhaps like Quasar, which is just outside of the framing of the camera right now, which is a Marvel superhero. So we might be seeing a Quasar or a form of that, which is interesting. Did a little bit of research. Wendell Vaughn showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's right.
So now, again, we've already seen
right.
that we can have more than one type of character exist. So just because Quasar's alter ego, if you will, or his origin or whatever might be different, that's not a problem. What is also interesting is that the picture that Empire released that features William Jackson Harper, also with Katie M. O'Brien, her character is referred to as Jentora, who is also a Marvel Comics character. She is described as being the niece of Lake Queen Jarella on the planet
Skrull
Kai.
Queen. Yeah, she's a Skrull Queen.
So, quite interesting to see that we're getting some names of some characters that very much might be rooted in some of the comic lore. Again, we don't know how they're going to be used. They describe Jentora as being a freedom fighter, so we might be seeing a insurrection or a rebellion, perhaps against Kang. Again, Tani's theory that Kang is not maybe calling all the shots in the quantum realm. We might see Bill Murray's Lord Kryler involved in some way. But yeah, definitely a lot to chew on. And it will be interesting to see, now that the first Loki series was a big success, they've established as a villain, where they're not waiting till the end to give us a Thanos story, we're getting it from the beginning. It'll be interesting to see how they work Kang and or his variants into the other features. Are we going to be seeing him in some of the other shows? I don't think it would make sense to see him in Daredevil, for example. However, again, the overlap with a lot of these projects is quite interesting. You may have forgotten, or may not have known, Roman, that Miss Minute's Twitter account recently engaged with Ryan Reynolds, referring to him as Deadpool. So we might be seeing Miss Minutes in the Wolverine and Deadpool film. So
interesting.
I think they're going to use this event, the Secret Wars, the Kang Dynasty, to help bring in the X-Men some way. Because, and I may have touched on this earlier, but what if the Secret War in this case is like an Infinite Crisis type thing, and the fact that it's secret is because it's taking place in time.
Yeah.
And it's between different Kangs, and then we get a nod to the comics where a Kang and the Avengers have to team up.
As opposed to Doctor Doom?
As opposed to Doctor Doom,
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Because then that still leaves us a lot of meat on the bone. It still plays a lot of the familiar strings. We can introduce Beyonder stuff if need be, maybe.
Sure.
That's too far.
Well, I think it's also a good point that Kang can be the catalyst for Fantastic Four. Because you got to remember that Kang is a distant relative to Reed Richards. His name is Nathan Richards.
Yeah, Nathaniel, which I think it's through, obviously, Reed's dad's lineage. Because Reed Richards' father is a time traveler.
Right, yes.
So
there's a cool way to spin that if they can.
Yes.
So there's definitely a Kang in the universe with Reed Richards from Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness.
Yeah, it begs that question because his telepad or his time, is very similar to the TVA tech.
Yes.
It's very similar to the way Kang travels in comics. He Who Remains refers to, I believe, himself, or at least some version of himself.
Kang himself.
Kang himself being a 31st century scientist, which in comics, that is the Kang. That would be the Kang Prime. He's the one he's basically just like as smart, if not probably smarter than Reed Richards.
I'd say smarter.
And then has future tech. So there's a time he actually in retconning. His first appearance, Kang's first appearance is in Avengers number 9 in 1964. But Rama Tut, Pharaoh,
that's right,
is in Fantastic Four issue 19.
So technically, that's the
and in 1963.
Right.
So Rama Tut, there's a time where Kang rules Egypt.
He comes back from the 31st century to go rule Egypt.
Yeah, and just rules it old school. Goes into the ways, obviously uses his technology, so they believe that he is a god.
He shows up in a pharaoh-looking spaceship.
Yeah. So
it's a little subtle. It's real subtle there.
Yes.
Well, it's cool because they retcon that he was there to bring apocalypse to being.
That's true. Yeah.
So and then if we want to go a little more crazy, Young Avengers. Iron Lad spoilers is find out to be Kang.
Yes.
But Kang is all over the MCU.
And in the Young Avengers, which has been a heavy motif in this phase.
Yes.
Both on the surface and kind of quiet.
With subtle too.
Elijah Bradley being introduced in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And Kate Bishop.
Well, Kate Bishop, obviously, she was the kind of a co-showrunner.
Yeah.
But Isaiah Bradley being in there. He's Patriot, so we have all but... Hulkling.
We do have scrolls, though.
We do have scrolls, and I wanted to come back to Jatara.
But didn't we get Hulkling in the very end of She-Hulk?
No. That is Scar, the son of Hulk.
Yes.
But
Hulkling is a son of a Skrull, and I believe a Kree.
Yes.
And so he can shapeshift, and he just kind of takes the form as a Hulk.
Right.
And they end up making him and Tommy, the Wiccan, they end up being like lovers.
Yeah.
So what if this Jatara chick is a Skrull that is fluid and then they have her be the Hulkling.
Sure, which is
because
cool.
she chooses. You know,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I've got a woke
I'm
hat
okay
on
with
today,
it,
guys.
No, I'm with you.
Just,
No, I'm with
just,
you because like we have Speed, we have Wicket. Yeah, it's right there.
we don't need to introduce a ton of Skrull teenagers.
We don't.
You know. So I just thought that was interesting that at least at the forefront, the 31st century version, like we are dealing with. You know, the bones of it, like, you know, bones and all, baby.
Right.
All right. Everything that Kang is, we are getting all of these fragments.
And it's so awesome because, you know, this was created by Stan the Man
and Jack
the Mac. You know?
Jack the Mac.
And I just liked how they were doing time travel stuff back then as far in mainstream comics. Obviously, there was, you know, time traveling comic books and, you know,
dude,
other sources, but
I wish there was an interview with Jack Kirby because there's no way that guy didn't experiment with like hallucinogens.
No, he only did.
But like, I wish there was an interview talking about that.
Right, because
all that stuff.
It's so psychedelic,
everything.
And, it's amazing.
And you know, you look at him and he's like your grandpa's grandpa. he looks like J. Jonah Jameson without the mustache.
That's true.
Always had a cigar.
Yeah.
Dude, his drawing table.
His easel.
His easel is in this museum. And it's gross and awesome.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Hey man, all the magic that was made there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All that magic that was thrown and sprayed on me.
Yes. There was a time in the comics where Kang was kind of alluding that he might be either Doctor Doom or the son of Doctor Doom.
Yeah, like he was related to him.
That was really just to mess with Doom,
Yeah.
just to kind of throw him off of trying to figure out who he was.
Kang did say he did Doom's costume. He did help. Kang was pulling inspiration from Doom. He did say that, but who knows?
Amen.
He could just be getting in his head, you know.
I love that about Kang.
I do too.
They had a recent issue come out, a one shot from Marvel, Timeless #1. I have yet to read it, but it's Kang centric. I put a copy aside to read. I got to get to it, guys. But it sold out here.
Oh.
The second print's coming out soon, so
cool.
Check it out. But
I just think it's funny how many names Kang has had. He's got more names than Old Dirty Bastard.
He does.
Let me run through them real quick for you. So we have Iron Lad.
Yep.
We have Pharaoh Ramatut. Victor Timely.
I don't know Victor Timely.
I don't either. Scarlet Centurion.
Don't know Scarlet Centurion.
Immortus.
I know him. And He Who Remains is kind of Immortus.
Immortus, basically.
Yeah.
Chrominator, #616. Kang the Conglomerator, rather. And Mr. help me out here.
Mr. Griffin?
Sure.
Mr. Gryphon?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar. I'm more familiar with Immortus, Iron Lad, Kang, Ramatut. Those are the kind of the major ones there.
Like the guy that plays him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jonathan Majors is killing it. I love his look. In that latest trailer, the kind of his blue face shield, the scars.
Cool.
I don't know, man. I
love where this is going.
This whole phase, I think that everybody just needs to buckle up, revisit some things. I really do think Loki was a good revisit.
I agree,
and really get you excited because we're just a few weeks away from from it's a Valentine's Day weekend, right? February 17th. Wow.
So mark your calendars.
All
it's
right.
Gonna be a good date night, I think.
Hey, kids, that's our show.
Oh, okay.
All right. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think below. Tell your friends. Yeah, tell them to come check it out. Tell them we got some Kang info for them. We got some interesting stuff.
Yeah, he's on the Council of Kangs.
He's on the Council of Kangs.
Yeah, there's another one.
There's Council of Reeds. There's a Council of Ricks from my Rick and Morty fans out there.
The Kangs, the comedy.
The Kangs. Oh my God! Just Jonathan Major's face on that poster. Oh my
Someone
God.
Do that, please.
Please.
And Pootie Kang. Someone make a Pootie Kang.
All right. Eric, do you have any final thoughts for us?
Time is a fickle thing. I guess. I don't know. Time makes fools of us all.
Any Tuna talk as we disengage?
If I had to give any prediction for Ant-Man, obviously there's a lot of potential storylines and theories and connections and where they're going to go after that sort of stuff. But I think we're going to get a very emotional kind of third film in the Ant-Man series. I think we're going to get at least one significant death. Again, I said it previously. I think it's going to be Ant-Man. Wouldn't be surprised if also we see Michael Douglas at least. They're going to wrap up some of that. So definitely going to be an emotional one for sure. And I know we'll have to do a double episode. We'll have to do giant issue episode after Ant-Man comes out.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. And I agree with you. I think Michael Douglas, like it wouldn't shock me if it's one of those things where whatever Scott ends up doing kills Michael Douglas. So if he survives, if he survives, whatever he does is because it kills Michael Douglas. Right. Or inadvertently, and like it's either he dies, it can't be Cassie, or Michael Douglas dies.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, or the mom. But I agree with you. Michael Douglas is probably definitely on his way out.
I mean,
and it's Peyton Reed, right? That directs these.
Peyton Reed, all three.
So he's going to be able to have directed all three. I do know that the first one was he influenced the writing, but he came on. They were already shooting.
Right. Well, Edgar Wright was initially there.
Right.
Yeah. But Peyton Reed does get his first. He was the one to get this first trilogy.
Yeah, he's going to get it before.
I thought it was going to be Jimmy Gunn.
Yeah, but James Gunn, write, direct everything.
That's true.
So he's going to get the Peyton will get the asterisks. All right, kids. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. I have been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm still Erik Icarus.
And for the Big Tuna, we will catch you.
Can I be
the next
King
podcast.
Ramabutt?